Hi there, I'm Craig and I'm here at historic Mill Creek Discovery Park just outside of Mackinac City. Now that sawmill there behind me is obviously the reason that this place exists in the first place. It's the reason it's called Mill Creek, and it's the reason there was an industrial complex here going way back into the 18th century through about the middle of the 19th century. But something that's important to remember is that sawmill, that's only half of the equation. That sawmill will not work without another very important structure here, and that's the mill dam. So today I'd like to take a closer look at that dam and just see how it worked. So you can see the dam there behind me, and this is a view that usually you can't get when you come and visit us here at historic Mill Creek Discovery Park, because typically in the summertime where I'm standing would be under a few feet of water. We actually have the ability to open and close the dam. That's a reconstructed dam back there, obviously. And we have a fish ladder built into it, so fish can actually migrate up the stream here in the springtime. And we haven't closed that fish gate yet, but when we do, the water will start to fill up, and this will be the mill pond. And that dam back there is what holds it back. Now, again, that dam back there is a reconstruction, but the original dam, which was probably built out here sometime maybe in the late 1780s or in the early 1790s, would have been in that exact same spot. When people started doing archaeology here at Mill Creek in about 1972, one of the first things that they were able to see, it was actually still poking up above the ground, was remains of the original dam. Now that dam back there is about 35 feet wide. It's a crib dam, so it's basically built like a kind of a rudimentary log cabin with these very large squared timbers locked into one another. It's tied into the underlying rock on either end of that, and then that crib was actually filled with just large glacial boulders. They really wanted to make it heavy and strong because then this upstream face would be cladded with boards, and they would be on an angle, and that surface would be about 20 feet tall. So it's not 20 feet tall way up in the air, but it was a rather large angled surface, and they needed all of that to actually hold back the water. And again, when archaeologists first started working out here at Mill Creek in the early 1970s, they were able to find not only parts of that crib, but they were even able to find parts of the board cladding on that upstream face. And those boards are now actually on display in our visitor center here at Mill Creek. Now that dam, again, would hold back the waters of Mill Creek, which you can see flowing here freely beside me, and it would create this mill pond. As I mentioned before, I'd be standing in several feet of water if our modern dam were actually closed right now. And this mill pond would be full of stored energy. The water would just be sitting here until a sluiceway would be opened at one end of the dam, and water could flow through that sluiceway over to the mill itself, and then it would drop straight down. And it would drop maybe 8 to 10 feet, and that drop would have enough power in it to turn a couple of different water wheels to power the sawmill, just like the one that we have reconstructed here today, and also a grist mill, which would have existed here historically. Now, interestingly enough, when those archaeologists were working out here in the 1970s and the 1980s, although they were able to find remnants of the dam and they were able to find remnants of some of the other buildings that existed historically here at Mill Creek, one of the things that they were not able to find conclusive evidence for was the mill itself. We obviously know there was a mill here. They just couldn't definitively locate it. It may have been destroyed during some later limestone quarrying operations that took place out here in the early 20th century. But we were able to conjecture about where that mill may have been located based upon the size of this dam. Because by doing some mathematical calculations based upon how much water that dam would hold back and how much water and how much power would be required to turn those various mill wheels, we could sort of guess as to where that mill may have been, how far away it may actually have been downstream on the other side of the dam. That's just a quick look at the dam here at historic Mill Creek Discovery Park. Maybe a view that you don't often get, especially if you've only visited in the summertime. But we do hope that you will come visit historic Mill Creek Discovery Park sometime in the near future. We'll get the dam closed up pretty soon, so the mill pond will actually begin to fill up, and we'll be able to start running that water-powered sawmill for demonstration on a pretty regular basis. Hope you've enjoyed our little tour of the dam here at Mill Creek, and do also hope to see you here at historic Mill Creek Discovery Park sometime soon.